What's up, everybody? I am Markus Schulz, and welcome to a very special podcast. Today, we are celebrating the release of my new City Series compilation, Los Angeles 12. Every year, I pick a city somewhere in the world and dedicate my City Series compilation to it. In 2011, we dedicated the series to Prague. In 2010, Las Vegas. 2009, Toronto. Amsterdam in 2008. Ibiza in 2006. And Miami in 2005. Today, to help us celebrate, I'll be playing you snippets of the Los Angeles 12 compilation. Sit back and get ready for the ride. This is me, Markus Schulz, and the Los Angeles 12 City Series compilation podcast.
You are listening to the Markus Schulz Los Angeles 12 podcast. Send us a message on Twitter and be sure to use the hashtag LA12.
Tune in to the Los Angeles 12 City Series compilation. Playing in the background, Wellenrausch, A Million Miles to Run. Just on top of that, Danilo Ercoli, A Man with Two Names, and kicking it all off with San Andreas Sound Lab, Hollywood Boulevard. In case you haven't figured it out, San Andreas Sound Lab is actually me, Markus Schulz. As most people know, I love to do the intros to these compilations, making special tracks that set the tone for the entire compilation. To kick off this compilation, I titled the track Hollywood Boulevard, the home of the legendary Avalon nightclub where I play many of my extended solo sets. The Los Angeles 12 City Series podcast continues with me, Markus Schulz.
You are listening to the Markus Schulz Los Angeles 12 podcast. Send us a message on Twitter and be sure to use the hashtag LA12.
Listening to a very special Los Angeles 12 podcast. Every year, I do a City Series compilation and dedicate it to a city somewhere that has inspired me throughout the year. In 2012, I dedicate the series to the city of Los Angeles. Today, we are celebrating by playing clips of all the tracks from Los Angeles 12. That last track, Eric Strong versus Dart Rain Shambhala. Just on top of that, Nifra Dark Harbor. You also heard Basil O'Glue double speak effects, Rebel Without a Cause and York Red Violin, and Klaus Goulart Sweet Little Pepper. Making its way into the mix right now, Mark Otten. Track is called Hyper Focus.
Los Angeles 12 podcast. Send us a message on Twitter and be sure to use the hashtag LA12.
You are tuned in to the Los Angeles 12 City Series podcast. Playing in the background, Styler. Track is called Quantum Mechanics. Just ahead of that, the massive track by Beat Service called Fortuna. You also heard Danilo Ercoli, track was called Quasar, and Mark Otten, track was called Hyper Focus. Making its way into the mix right now, a brand new track by yours truly, Markus Schulz, Bolandish. This track I made more in the Dakota style production. A little deeper, a little darker, definitely for the twisted after hours time of my sets. This is me, Markus Schulz, and the Los Angeles 12 City Series compilation.
Send us a message on Twitter and be sure to use the hashtag LA12.
We are at the halfway point of the Los Angeles 12 City Series podcast. I am Markus Schulz. Every year, I do a compilation and dedicate it to a city somewhere in the world that has inspired me for that year. In 2012, I chose Los Angeles. The City of Angels has been inspirational to me. As everybody knows, dance music has blown up huge in the United States, and right at the epicenter is Los Angeles. It is a scene that everybody can be proud of. People from all over the world travel to the City of Angels to party. The festivals and the club nights there are legendary. One of my favorite clubs to play at is Avalon, located on the corner of Hollywood and Vine, right across the street from the famous Capitol Records building. There have been many, many crazy nights there where I've played until the wee hours of the morning. This intro I made in dedication to the club Avalon. This is me, Markus Schulz, and the Los Angeles 12 City Series compilation podcast.
You are listening to the Markus Schulz Los Angeles 12 podcast. Send us a message on Twitter and be sure to use the hashtag LA12.
to the Los Angeles 12 podcast. We are celebrating the release of my new City Series compilation by playing you snippets from all the tracks. That last track, Rex Mundi, track was called Shocking Blue. Just ahead of that, Comha, Mind Gamer. You also heard Arne, We Unite, and kicking off CD2, San Andreas Sound Lab with the dedication to Avalon. The podcast rolls on now. Making its way into the mix, Styler. All That Remains in the Basil O'Glue remix. Los Angeles 12 City Series podcast. I am Markus Schulz. Playing in the background, Aaron Cam's Aqua. Just ahead of that, Mr. Pitt Pole Position. You also heard DNS Project Recapture and Styler All That Remains in the Basil O'Glue remix. Now, making its way into the mix, another monster tune. Omnia and Era, The Fusion. This is the Los Angeles 12 City Series podcast. I am Markus Schulz. You know, one of the big reasons that I dedicated the City Series compilation in 2012 to the City of Angels was because of the massive trance family support in Los Angeles. Tracks like the one that's playing in the background, Elevation versus Groovy and Hosepian, absolutely destroy the dance floors whenever I play in Los Angeles. There is no better feeling than queuing up a track that you know is a monster. Los Angeles, the 2012 City Series compilation is dedicated to you. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed that little peek into Los Angeles 12, the latest installment in my City series. This track playing in the background, Mr. Pitt, River of Hearts. Just ahead of that, Urcola featuring Annie, Follow Me in the Rex Mundi remix. You also heard Elevation versus Groovy and Hosepian, City of Angels, Rex Mundi, Opaque, Coma Artemis, and Omnia and Era, The Fusion. I want to send a massive shout out to all of the artists that contributed and worked on this compilation with me. Also, a very, very special thank you to everybody in Los Angeles. Thank you for inspiring me, not just this year, but for many years to come. Who is going to get the City Series compilation next year? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. Until then, I'll see you somewhere on the road.
Thank you for listening to the Markus Schulz Los Angeles 12 podcast. Don't forget to tune in each week to listen to Markus on the Global DJ Broadcast. Log on to globaldjbroadcast.com and markusschulz.com for more information. Make sure you follow Markus on Twitter and Facebook. Don't forget to send us a message on Twitter and be sure to use the hashtag LA12.
For more info, check www.armadamusic.com.